to think of it, those two had never called each other by their names until now. Jessica had known Kanon's true name. Kanon hadn't called Jessica by her name. When people call each other by name, they acknowledge the worth of the other's soul. That's why names are sacred. When you've been given permission to say someone's name, it means they've acknowledged your soul.
だから、お父様は名前を呼んでほしいと?
No. That's probably wrong. When Father sees me, it reminds him of that other me, the past me. I'm sure that me called Father by name. However, that probably doesn't mean Father would be happy to hear me call him by his name. After all, I am me, and not the Beatrice Father knows well. What can I do to help Father? How can I be useful to him? After all, that's the only reason I was born. Hanging her head, Beatrice sat all alone in the Golden Lands arbor next to the rose garden. And she was watched by the Witch of Theater-going and her Miko as they sat across from each other.
かわいそうな子ね。
そなたがベアトに同情するとは思わなかった。
このベアトをかつてのベアトと同一人物と呼ぶのはこれは全くの別人じゃない。
It may be that, by the rules, this Beato is the Beato. However, saying that would be horribly unfair to her.
かつての好敵手を蘇らせてこれではバトラも気がめいろうというもの。
お兄ちゃんの絶望も少しはわかる。でもこの子の気持ちもわかるの。人は決して誰かの身代わりにはなれない。それがたとえかつての自分であってもね。
Compared to the young boy and girl who had found new versions of themselves by calling each other by their true names, this witch looked very feeble. The witch knew that she was an illusion created in the image of the person she once was. She also knew that it would only hurt Battler if she were to try and pretend to be that person.
それでもこのベアトはバトラの役に立ちたいと思ってけなげな話だ。
それがベアトリーチェという魔女の意味なの。
彼女はそうだと自称している。自分はバトラの役に立つために生まれてきたと。
お兄ちゃんのために生まれてきたベアトがやがては連続殺人を犯し、お兄ちゃんに永遠の拷問と称しておかしなゲームに引きずり込む。意味わかんないわ。
1000年を経れば人は別人にもなり得るとそなたも理解しているはず。
At the very least, Beatrice was once a pure creature who was born for Battler's sake. It's also very clear that, in her current feeble state, she doesn't possess any of the courage or motivation needed to bring about such fearsome serial murders. That means, the sinister witch we all know must have changed during the 1,000 years since her birth.
1000年とか偉そうな単語がよく出てくる魔女の世界ではどうも長い月日を示す別称として使われてる気がするわ。
神の世界に近づけば近づくほどに時間の概念は曖昧になる。6年も1000年となるし、1000年がほんの一眠りにもなる。ほんの2週間の月日でさえも100年の魔女を名乗るにふさわしい永遠となり得るのだ。
In other words, the pure Beato transformed into the cruel Beato. During 6 years, that could be called 1,000. Does that mean something bad happened during those 6 years that made her hate Oni-chan?
納得いかないわ。その6年間、お兄ちゃんは六軒島はおろか、後ろ宮家の席から抜けてさえいるのよ。その変化にお兄ちゃんは何の関係もない。全くの逆恨みだわ。
Doubt it. Yeah, just scoff at it. Fair.
おや、こちらにおいででした。お紅茶でもお入れしましょうか。
熊沢さん、知りたいことがあります。
はいはい、何でしょう。
私はなんですよね。
お嬢様はベアトリーチェ様でございますとも。
でも お父様が口にするベアトリーチェという人物は私のことではありません。
それは。
お父様は私にその人であってほしかったように思いだから、私がその人に失望されたのではないでしょうか。
そんなことはお嬢様はお嬢様。新しくお生まれ変わりになるとき、以前の記憶を失ってしまっただけでございますよ。たとえ記憶をなくされようとも、親方様の愛されるお方と同一人物でございますとも。
その記憶というのはどうやれば取り戻すことができますか？
それは。
Beata looked at Kumasawa with hopeful eyes, as though praying that she would tell her the way. Kumasawa averted her gaze unhelpfully, as though trying to say that she'd like to, if only such a way existed.
取り戻すことができないなら、せめてお父様の愛したベアトリーチェがどのよ
What
う
kind
な
of
人物だ
person
った
was
か
the
を
Beatrice
教え
that
てくださ
father
い。
loved? Oh, you know, she was a little bit fucked in the head, really liked gruesome murder.
それならお話はできます。
私はだからお父様の望む黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェになりたいんです。
Was born for father's sake. Okay. That's not just a throwaway line, like the witch Beatrice was created for battler's sake. Okay.
ベアトリーチェ様。
私に魔法は使えません。でもお父様の望む魔女が使えるならそれを学びましょう。私はお父様の望む魔女になります。
Oh, you want to become the witch he desires, huh? Alright, step 1, kill a man.
それがお父様に産んでもらったことへの私が示せる唯一のご恩返しです。けなげじゃない。1000年を間違えなきゃ最高にいい子だわ。
魔女のヒナ、なかなか面白きかな。気に入ったぞエンジェ。そのヒナの娘に我が諸子を許すがいい。魔女の世界へ帰る扉を開いてやるがよかろう。
彼女自身にかつての彼女の物語を朗読させ。なるほど、私も知りたいわ。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェを作る物語。
Interesting.
いいでしょう。あなたが望む扉を再び開きましょう。
熊沢さん。
A golden splash welled up around them. There was a cloud of gold butterflies. With a flash of gold, the form of the old lady transformed into that of a witch in a dress. Yeah.
あなたの進むべき道
Like a
は
Ronove's Genji.
あなたが決めなさい。それはおそらくバラの道。美しく咲き誇ったバラがあなたを祝福するかもしれないし、しかしそれでもあなたがいつかたどった道、その結果同じ1000年を経てもいい、異なる1000年を経てもいい、望むなら道を引き返してもいい。
進みます。私はこの庭で1000年お父様のために、このベアトリーチだからお父様のために生きようと思
But
い
then
ま
once
す。
she learns the truth of what father did,
教えてください。
whatever that is,
黄金の魔女。
the great witch spread her arms, communicating the other's unbending determination to the brilliant heavens. At that moment, a brilliant light covered the two of them. Before they knew it, they were in a strange study. There sat the master of this library, the great old witch, and her Miko. Virgilia gave a deep and elegant bow.
拝謁、 至極尊厳なる感激と戯曲と傍観の魔女フェザリーヌ・アウグストゥス・アウローラ卿表を上げよ人の子よ。その娘にしばしの間我が諸子を自由に閲覧する資格を与えよう。我が巫女その方に世話を命ず。
はいはい、お任せを。我があるし、素直にそなたの物語が見たいと言えばいいのに。
感激の魔女の巫女よ、ベアトリーチェをお預けします。
よろしくお願いします。あんたのなろうとしているベアトリーチェは、彼女なり少なくとも今のあなたはその何かから解き放自らその枷を取り戻すために旅に出るの。はい、私は黄金の魔女になりたい。それが私の生まれてきた理由です。
彼女の煉獄を巡る旅が快適であるよ。
Publius.
そして保護が与えられるよ。無限と有限の魔女プブリウス・ワルギリア・マロの名において要請します。
Publius. Her name's Publius.
感激の魔女の巫女にして無限の魔女反言の魔女見習いエンジェ・ベアトリーチェの名において了承する者なりやと奉ったり踏んだり蹴ったり。
Featherine snorted.
あなたもベアトリーチェという名を？ええ、あなたのことはよく知ってるわ。教えてください。私がどんな私だったのか。
What kind of person were you? Okay, step one. I hate you. That's the kind of person you are. The one that I hate.
だから教えて。あなたがどうしてあなたになったのか。
この書庫にはこれまでのそなたのゲームの物語のかけらがすべて書物として収められている。それを読むことでそなたはこれまで何があったかのすべてを知ることができるだろう。それを読めば私は黄金の魔女になれますか？黄金の魔女を継承するにはそしてその試練はたとえベアトリーチェ本人だとしても免れる。頑張ります。ですから私に書庫の本を読ませてください。本当にけなげだわ。わざわざあんなのになんで戻りたがるんだか。その私がどんな自分だかは知ります。でもその自分がお父様のお役に立てるなら私はそれになりたいです。
Angie sighed resignedly. No words would stop this girl's feelings of respect. Angie was the Miko of the Witch of Theater going. She could do nothing but watch over the stage. That's right. They weren't actually interfering with the play. This is just a bit of directing, to shine the spotlight onto the tale of Beato's past. Even this was nothing more than the Witch of Theater going watching a play.
読めばそなたはかつてのベアトリーチェがどのような人物だったかを知るだろう。しかしそこから何を得られるかはそなたが決めるがよい。その対価として私はそなたを感激する。感激とは？要するに好きにしていいって意味よ。ありがとうございます。青草フェザリーヌって呼ぶと喜ぶわよ。ありがとうございます。フェザリーヌ様。
After being welcomed in by Featherine, Beato left on a journey to discover herself. That tale connected the old tale with the new one. It wove them together. The 1,000-year-old tale about her returned to its starting point, becoming a snake eating its own tail. Okay. The ring of that snake began slowly, bit by bit, to turn into the shape of a small island floating on the sea. And that was Rokkenjima. The 1,000 years of the witch born on this island were tied to the island. Was it 1,000 years, or just 6? Or did this tale start even further back into the past? Beatrice went out on a journey to find herself. Okay. Okay. Noted. That's why this episode is called Dawn of the Golden Witch, because we actually learned the origin story. Okay. The wind had been strengthening since a while back. The breaking waves had grown fierce. The ferry boats probably wouldn't be coming for a while now. The crashing thunder told that the island had been sealed off from the outside world. A thick rain poured down, mocking the fools outdoors who had to rush pathetically to find shelter. No longer would anyone be able to leave this island. And no longer would anyone be able to reach this island. No one, unless blessed with a miracle. There was another flash of lightning. The retinas of all who saw it were filled with white. As that white faded away, an eerie shadow pulled itself up amidst the raging waters of the beach. As though suddenly remembering to do so, it coughed violently several times, filthily spitting out the seawater that had filled its stomach. She then tore apart the attached fastener of her life jacket and threw down the reason she'd been able to float here without so much as a thank you. Yeah, I figured it was Etika.
いつも変わらぬ嵐での艦隊、実にグッドです。さあ楽しませてもらいますよ、バトラさん。
Now the game really begins. 2.5 hours later. A lot of build-up. I'm assuming it's gonna pay off for sure, but my lord, a lot of build-up. News of the drifter, followed to Etika, quickly spread across Rokkenjima. Etika, who had been welcomed in politely, and it was decided that she would be treated as a guest until the typhoon passed. In the dining hall, Gota's wonderful dinner had ended, and everyone was relaxing, enjoying some after-dinner coffee and cheese. After-dinner coffee and cheese. Apparently Balor was a bit relieved that Etika had come and turned into a good scapegoat. Drove away some of the attention he'd been getting piled on him for finally coming back after 6 years. In fact, she turned out to be very talkative. When the conversation turned to a sophisticated discussion of the mystery genre, even the adults were drawn in. She was apparently so well versed that even Nanjo, who had a vast knowledge of the subject, was impressed.
嵐の孤島に洋館に不気味、そこに雨宿りの探偵とくりゃもうお膳立てが揃ったも同然だぜ。
ご安心を。どんな難事件であっても解決してお見せします。それが探偵の務めです。
頼もしいじゃないか。むしろ何か怪事件が起こってほしいものだね。
That's crazy.
犠牲者役はごめん被るが。
Anywho.
あなた不謹慎です。
まあ人間のミステリーの歴史なんてほんのそのトリックもアイデアもほんの数種の焼き直しですでに描くべきことなどありません。いかなる不可能犯罪、密室殺人が起ころうともすでに類型化されているどれかのトリックを形を変えただけに過ぎないのですから。まあそれでもミステリーが読み物として現代でも古典もろくすっぽ読まない付け焼き場の自称自分の不勉強ゆえに知らない古典トリックをさも新鮮であるかのように勘違いして大騒ぎしてるだけなんですが。
Everyone couldn't help but gape at this imposing claim. If an aged critic had said it, that would have been one thing. But to think that a young person like this could say it so boldly.
ミステリーなんてもう半世紀も前に終わったじゃ私に言わせればですが、でも不勉強なバカばっかりのおかげで
それを言ったら恋愛なんてシェイクスピアの時代に完成されてて以後は読む価値もないってことになるぜ。
そうですね。じゃあロミオとジュリエットさえ読んどけば恋愛なんてもう理解できたも同然ってことじゃないんですか？
そんなわけねえさ。本は読んだ数を競うものでもねえが、さりとてこれで十分だと威張るもんでもねえ。過去の古典の話ばかりで新書を読まねえのはいわゆる悪しき解雇主義じゃねえのか？
Even if it does follow the same form as something else, you know, you'll get a refreshing perspective with new characters, new setting, some new events taking place that kind of follow the same beats, maybe. You know, it's like, listen, I'm almost set myself off there, but listen, I've said this many, many times in the past, and I will continue to say it. Predictable isn't bad, all right? Just because you can see what's coming doesn't mean it's bad. Everyone always looks at it like, oh, the story's too predictable. That just means you fucking know a lot of shit, dude. Calm down. Nah, the story's way too predictable. Okay, but did you enjoy it? Well, it's predictable. That doesn't tell me whether you enjoyed it. It doesn't tell me anything about the quality of the story. It's predictable, it just tells me something about you. When you say something's predictable, you're okay, I need to stop. I'll go on that rant and I will keep going. I need to stop. Anyway, nostalgia. Yeah, I'm gonna drink some water to keep myself from talking.
それこそ読書をサボる年寄りどもの言い訳だと思うぜ。
Yeah, you old bitch.
そうですね。私もバトラさん程度には本を読まないと言いまかされちゃいそうです。
俺？本なんか読まねえし。
Battler chuckled, but Etika knew from the previous game that Battler was actually quite an avid reader. So his words felt more like a challenge.
そんなにも推理自慢ならクイズとかパズルとかは得意そうだね。
Oh, you're so smart. Solve the Sudoku.
クイズとかの本持ってなかったっけ？
You're such a genius, right? Solve today's Sudoku puzzle. Hell yeah. Realizing that Etika's arrogant statement had made the atmosphere a little more tense, George smoothly changed the subject. As he does. Ah, man. By now, it was more than clear that she wasn't the cute guest she had appeared to be. Maria pulled a book out of her bag that had quizzes and puzzles written on it and started reading them to everyone. It looked like it might turn into a peaceful quiz party. But, of course, that isn't what happened, because, of course, Etika's a dick. As a credit to all her big talk, Etika managed an impressive ratio of correct and immediate answers. She took complete control, and her bragging began to escalate more and more. George slightly regretted the choice he'd made when changing the subject. Yeah, is she making that weird face that looks like she just busted a lady nut? I can almost guarantee you she is. After she solves like the 50th puzzle and she's just like, oh.